on camera for the first bit so you can see what it look like, but I'll minimize myself now so we can actually see the slides. So today we're going to be talking about how you can make Google Shopping the backbone of your digital strategy and how you can achieve success with Google Shopping. However, before we do get started, the recording of the webinar will be available afterwards. For any questions, please use the chat window and we'll go through any questions in a dedicated Q&A block after the main presentation. So a few things about myself. So I've been working in the digital space for about 5 years now and specialized in online retail, travel and automotive, specifically campaigns which are geared towards generating sales and leads. And this wonderful picture tools and understand how Google Shopping can help you achieve your business goals. So the specific topics that we will be covering to give you this knowledge needed to get started with Google Shopping are: what is Google Shopping? Who can run Google Shopping? The requirements for running Google Shopping? The investment needed to get up and running? How many products you can advertise? Keeping your Google Shopping campaigns up to date? What you can do about competitors? The results you will be able to achieve from Google Shopping and measuring those results, setting the right goals for your Google Shopping campaign and optimizing and allocating budget, and then how to integrate with your other marketing. So first off, what's Google Shopping? It's an ad format which runs in Google, advertising specific products for online stores. It differs from text ads as it contains a visual element and has native price support. This makes it an effective advertising format for retail. Research has shown that displaying a product's price can have benefits for customers engaging with the ad, so clicking on it, and then also increases the likelihood that they ultimately purchase once they go on site. This is because price pre-qualifies a customer. If the price for the product isn't in their price range, they're less likely to click on the ad, so you're less likely to pay for traffic from a customer who's not ultimately going to purchase. And although you can get price into search ads, it is a bit more of an involved process in getting it up and running in Google Shopping, which does have native price support. Indeed, Google Shopping actually requires a price for every product that you want to advertise. So then, who can run Google Shopping? Any website with product pages which clearly display products and their price, the ability to take orders online, and not selling restricted products. Some examples of this are prescription medication, weapons, and automotive vehicles. In other words, the vast majority of online retailers are eligible to run Google Shopping. Setting up Google Shopping. So in order to set up your shopping campaigns, you'll need to get information about your products from your website into your Google Merchant Center. From there, the product data goes on to produce shopping ads as well as flowing through to your AdWords account, where you build and manage your shopping campaigns. So if we look at that flow diagram down the bottom of the slides, you start with your products, what you have for sale. This then turns into a product feed, which describes these products. This is uploaded to your Google Merchant Center, where Google reviews and approves these products and stores it. This data then flows into your Google Shopping campaigns or feed-based campaigns in this diagram, and then to AdWords as well. So this product feed can take a variety of forms. It can range from a highly technical solution, such as a live XML document, which updates every time anything with your inventory changes, right through to a basic manual spreadsheet, which you just set up in Google Sheets. So pictured below is an example of what a product feed can look like. This is an example of one of those manual feeds, so it's just a spreadsheet set up in Google Sheets, and it just includes the information about products needed to run in Google Shopping. So I'll run through some of the more critical elements to include here. So this full set of requirements is documented by Google. I'm not going to cover them all here, but we'll link to the Google documentation at the end of the slides. So first off, each product needs an ID. This is just a unique identifier for the product and can typically be the same as the SKU you're using in your website data. Then the title. So this is the name of the product. This is how the product will appear in the ads. So you want to make sure that it is written in a search-friendly way. How would you want the customers to read the name of the product? And then similarly with the description, this appears when a customer is interested in viewing more information about the product. So you want to make sure that it is written in a compelling way, and keep that in mind when you are writing the description for each item. Fourth, we have the Google product category. So this is Google's taxonomy for categorizing products. This is how Google knows what a product uploaded to the feed actually is. So for example, that first item in the feed here, that television, it has a Google product category of electronics, then video, then televisions. So that lets the Google know exactly what that product is. Similarly, for the 2 pairs of jeans that are in this feed, rows 5 and 6, they have a category of apparel and accessories, clothing, and then pants. So this categorization needs to match Google's taxonomy, as this is how Google knows what the product actually is. So then the next one is product type. So product type is a similar way of categorization, but it is entirely custom. This doesn't need to match Google's categorization taxonomy, and our recommendation for best practice of this field is to match the categorization you have on your website. So the same way you categorize on products on your website, categorize your feed in the same way. Next we have price. So this is pretty straightforward. It's just the price on your website, the price that your customers can purchase the product for. And then finally, we have GTIN. So GTIN is the number on the barcode for the product. So this is a requirement for running many product types and brands in Google Shopping. It's not required for custom-made products or in-house brands. So for example, if you make your own products for sale, or if you have your own home brand without barcodes, you don't need those to sell those products in Google Shopping. But it's best practice for any products that you're a reseller of, that you should include GTIN, as the number of products which do require this to run Google Shopping is growing over time. So it's best practice to include that. So then generating a product feed is generally a pretty straightforward process. If you have your website built on a modern e-commerce platform, typically there are add-ons, extensions, plugins out there which will generate a product feed for you after a short setup process. So some examples of e-commerce platforms that have this capability: Magento, Shopify, Nido, BigCommerce. Not limited to these, but some example of the larger ones that do have this capability. So there's not too much of a time investment in using one of those plugins or extensions, but if you just want to get your feet wet and manually create a Google Sheet for a few products, you can do that to get started with Google Shopping. But then how many products can you advertise? All of them. You can advertise as many products as you have in stock. There's no cost associated with uploading a product to your merchant center or any overheads in terms of data costs or anything like that. The only cost you incur is for traffic on the campaigns. However, when it comes to the number of products you upload to your merchant center, the main thing you want to keep in mind is that it does need to be kept up to date. And as the number of products you are uploading grows, the overhead of keeping that up to date will grow as well. So this is where automated feed solutions really add value, as they will update your product feed when you get new items on your website, items sell out, availability changes, prices change, and you won't need to worry about constantly keeping your feed up to date, as that will all happen automatically. So then in terms of an investment required for Google Shopping, you can spend as much or as little as you want. Costs are on a cost per click basis, so you're only charged when somebody clicks on your ad and gets through to your site. You also have complete control over your budget on a daily basis. For example, you can specify that you want to spend no more than $40 a day on a campaign, and the spend of that campaign will be capped at that level, so there's no danger of spending more than you intend. However, for marketing reasons, we do recommend that you do spend enough to consistently appear for searches for your key products. This is because people do often make multiple searches when they are looking to buy something, and it can work against you to have your budget run out. For example, if somebody is searching for a TV, they're probably going to start out by making some searches, viewing a few products, doing their research, determining which TV they actually want to buy. So your ad may appear for these searches, but then if your budget runs out, then when the customer is actually doing their final searches looking to buy, then your ad may not appear. So you may have paid for the traffic to get a customer to the site while they're doing their research, but not actually appeared when they're looking to buy. So it does vary from vertical to vertical, but that sort of minimum level of spend typically comes out to around $50 a day. So that's our recommended spend level to start at. So then keeping your product feed up to date. as I mentioned, you need to make sure that your product feed is kept up to date. The main things that you'll need to keep up to date are pricing, availability, and shipping. So pricing and availability, they're pretty straightforward, but shipping means an estimated shipping cost for each product. So Google basically requires that each product have an estimated shipping cost in your merchant center, as it uses this to provide the most accurate price estimate to customers who are viewing your ads. So this is pretty straightforward if you have flat rate shipping. Each item just has the same flat rate shipping, but it can get complicated if you have multiple carriers, and shipping depends on product size and weight. So there are multiple solutions here, but just something to be aware of, that you do need an estimate of shipping costs for every item that you want to run in Google Shopping. So it is important to keep these dimensions up to date. Inaccuracy on any of these, of pricing, availability, and shipping, will result in your products getting disapproved in your merchant center, and this means they won't be eligible to run in Google Shopping. And if you do have enough products that are disapproved, your entire merchant center can be disapproved. So not only the products which have inaccuracies, but every product in your merchant center will no longer be eligible. So this is again where an automated feed solution really shines, one that ties back to your website data, because this will keep these attributes up to date, and you won't need to worry about that doing it manually. So then, what results will you get from Google Shopping? The results you get largely come back to marketing fundamentals, the 4 Ps. So placement, product, promotion, and price. So in terms of placement, are your ads appearing for the right searches? Having a high quality data feed is important here, particularly when it comes to the product title and description. So Google uses the product title and description to match against search queries made by customers. So for example, to get a plasma TV to appear for the search plasma TV, this phrase should be present in the product title and description. So the product should be named as Plasma TV, and it should feature in the description as well. If any of you are familiar with SEO, it's a similar concept there. You want to make sure that your product title contains the main terms which you want to capture traffic on, and then also see the description with secondary terms which you want to capture traffic on as well. Secondly, in regards to placement, you need to consider your website. Is it easy for the customer to purchase? Once a customer clicks through to the website, do they have to jump through hoops to buy? Is the site speed slow? Are they sitting there waiting for the page to load? Or is it an easy process? Do they come to the product page, add the product to their cart, and check out in an easy, smooth process? You want to make sure that the path to purchase is as easy as possible, put as few roadblocks in their way as possible. So secondly, product. What we need to consider here is the product desirable to customers to buy online? There are differences by vertical here. Homogeneous products like electronics are very easy to buy online. Nobody has a real problem with buying, say, an iPhone online. They know exactly what an iPhone is. They know they're going to get the exact same product regardless of where they buy it from. So there's no issue with buying online. In contrast, something like apparel can be harder to sell online, particularly fashion apparel. So it's more likely that people searching for these products are going to want to view it in store, try it on, view some other products alongside it. It's not to say it's not worthwhile to run Google Shopping for these sorts of ads, but from these campaigns, it's more likely to be in-store visits and in-store sales rather than direct online sales, because people are going to want to see it in-store. So it's just something to keep in mind. Are people comfortable buying your product online, or may it drive traffic to your store? Thirdly, promotion. What is your value proposition, and how is this communicated to your customers? So some pretty common online retail value propositions are free shipping, price match guarantee, etc. You need to make sure that these are communicated prominently to your customers to increase their likelihood of purchase. They should feature on your website, on your product pages, so as soon as they click through from your ad, they're able to read them and know what your value proposition is. Fourth, price. Are you price competitive? As price is a prominent feature in shopping ads, if another store has the same product for less, customers are just far less likely to click on your ad and are more likely to click on the competitor ad. Even if you do have some great USPs, you don't really get a chance to communicate these to the customer until they have clicked on the ad. So a price differential really matters, because even if you have those great USPs, you won't get a chance to communicate those to your customers because they're not going to click on your ad most of the time, unfortunately. So then measuring the result of Google Shopping. So there are two major ways in which you can track the sales which result from your Google Shopping campaigns. The first is AdWords tracking tags, and the second is implementing Google Analytics e-commerce tracking, and then linking your AdWords and Analytics accounts. So we won't go into too much detail on these, since implementation of tracking tags could be a webinar topic of its own. But basically, at a high level, what tracking tags do is check if a user or a customer who has purchased originally clicked on an ad to get to the website. If they did this, this is tracked as a sale attributed to the campaigns and is tracked back to the product ad which originally shown, allowing you to see which products are generating sales from your campaigns. Additionally, Google Data Studio is a free tool which we recommend. It allows you to generate a live dashboard for your shopping campaigns, allowing you to just log in and get a real-time update on traffic, costs, and sales from your shopping campaigns, and keep a live pulse on performance. Dynamic Creative also offer a free Google Shopping dashboard template free of charge. So this is available on our website. If you're interested, there's a link at the end of the webinar slides, which will be sent out. So this is an example of what the dashboard looks like. So you can see that you've got your high-level metrics for your shopping campaigns. You can immediately see how much you've spent in the specified time period, return on ad spend that you've achieved, your sales, impressions, clicks, all of those high-level metrics, so you can keep tabs on how your campaigns are performing. So measuring, optimizing shopping and allocating budget. So based on the performance of your campaigns, you want to make adjustments to your bids and budgets to ensure that you are putting budget towards products which perform best. Picture's an example of a shopping campaign showing the performance of this campaign at the product group level. So product groups are the way in which shopping campaigns are structured. In the pictured example, all the products have been segmented down to drones, and then the drone segment has been further segmented to FPV drones, and then individual products have been split out to manage bids at the product level. So it is best practice to have your bids set individually at the product level to have complete control over where your budget is spent. But the reason for this is illustrated in the example. For example, if we look at product number 2, it has a bid of 99 cents, but a higher level of performance compared to product 3, 2.41 return on ad spend compared to 1.76. In this scenario, we would want to increase the bid on product 2, since $1 spent there, on average, returns $2.41 in sales revenue, and lower the bid on product 3, since $1 spent there returns only $1.76 in sales revenue. So this level of control is only possible with product level bidding, and this is the way in which you can get the best results from your shopping campaigns. So then in terms of setting goals for your shopping campaigns, so the goals for your campaigns need to come from your overall business goals and overall business model. So there's a lot of articles out on the internet which tell you that you need to be hitting a minimum of an 8-to-1 or a 10-to-1 on your Google Shopping campaigns, and if you're not, your campaigns aren't good enough. But that's not going to help you achieve your business goals and will often result in you leaving money on the table. So a far better way to approach the goals for your shopping campaigns are to look at your gross margin and your cost of goods sold. So for example, some hypothetical targets for a website operating on a 20% gross margin, i.e. for a $100 sale, the cost of goods sold would have been $80. A growth strategy might be targeting achieving as many sales as possible while achieving a 5-to-1 return on ad spend. So this would mean that the campaigns are acquiring new customers, but also paying for themselves because they are achieving a 5-to-1. The cost of sales are paying for the campaigns and they are breaking even. However, if you wanted to look at a profit contributor strategy, that might mean targeting a return on ad spend of 6-to-1. So your volume of sales compared to the growth strategy would drop because you're targeting a more efficient return on ad spend, but each sale would be generating profit to your bottom line, so contributing to your profit. So ultimately, the goal for every shopping campaign needs to be different because it needs to come back to your business goals and your business model. So then competitors in Google Shopping. Competitors are an unfortunate fact of life in Google Shopping and other marketing. So while it can be frustrating to see the same competitors appearing alongside all of your ads, it is best to keep your eye on your own campaigns, optimize your own goals, and make your campaigns as good as they can be. If you see a competitor running with a good idea that you can use in your own campaigns, absolutely take cues from that and incorporate any learnings. But doing things like increasing your bids and budgets to try and blanket them out on specific products or push them off the search engine results page is only going to hurt your own results. You're basically spending more on your campaigns, so your campaigns are not going to be profitable while you're doing that, and you're basically hurting yourself more than you're going to hurt them. So it is best to run your own race, as it were, make your own campaigns as good as they can be, and this will result in the best results in the long term. So then, how to integrate with your other marketing? So there are a handful of ways in which you can integrate results from other marketing with your Google Shopping. So on the left, we've got an example of how seller ratings look. So this allows you to leverage positive reviews on your products in your Google Shopping ad. So you can see that for this Nike shoe, this retailer has over 9,000 positive reviews, and they're at a very high level, on average 5 out of 5 stars. And then merchant promotions on the right, they allow you to highlight offers across your range of products. So in this example, this merchant is offering £5 off when you spend £50 or more on selected fragrances and has an attached coupon code there. So you don't necessarily need a coupon code. It can just be a generic offer, and you can implement these across your products at any level. So if you have a store-wide sale, you can highlight this across everything. If it's on a specific category, just those products, or even a specific product, you can highlight it on just that one product. And you can see that this is highlighted with that little special offer tag down the bottom, and when they mouse over that, they get more details about the offer. So what you have learned today. So hopefully through this presentation, you've got an understanding how you can connect with customers when they are looking to buy, find ways you can run your online business better by using sophisticated tools, and understanding how Google Shopping can help you achieve your business goals. So in terms of, we've got some time set aside for Q&A. Are there any questions? If there are, ask them in the chat window and we will discuss them.
Hey Ollie, I've got a question. It's Narelle here. I'm just wondering, how difficult is shopping to get up and running? What sort of lead time, what sort of effort am I going to actually be required to do?
So I guess it varies on your situation. So I guess if you're a store with thousands of products, it can be a bit of a task getting things up and running, since you need a product feed with each of your thousands of products. But then automated solutions out there do make it relatively easy if you're on a modern e-commerce platform. Google does require time to, I guess, verify each of these products. That can take up to 3 business days. But ultimately, it shouldn't take more than, say, a fortnight to go from starting the setup process to getting up and running in Google Shopping.
How does shopping perform to other online digital advertising?
So Google Shopping often has a much better return on ad spend in terms of your bottom line, since it is targeted at people who are, I guess, at that stage of looking to purchase, because it is, I guess, a price-focused ad format. It is at the product level, so you're more likely to capture traffic from people who are looking to purchase, as opposed to maybe social media or something like that, which may generate a lot of interest in your brand, but not necessarily those end sales.
Okay, we have a question, Ollie, coming up on the chat.
So question from Grant Johnson. So if you have products to sell, like $50 a day to spend on digital marketing, would you bet all your cash on shopping? I think so. AdWords and Google Shopping are a bottom funnel marketing. So they capture people at the stage where they are ready to purchase, as opposed to some other forms of digital marketing, which are more upper funnel, great for generating brand awareness, that sort of thing, but won't necessarily immediately translate into sales for your business and cash in your pocket. So shopping is absolutely one of the best starting points for digital marketing if you're looking to get those sales coming in. And you can the approach you can take with Google Shopping is, because it is effective from a sales perspective, you can, with a small starting budget, you can roll that and grow your shopping campaigns as they do pay for themselves. So you start with a $50 per day budget, you find success with that, the campaigns are generating sales, paying for themselves, and you can continue to grow your budget in that way without actually having a huge investment required, because on a rolling basis, the campaigns are paying for themselves.
Okay, Ollie, how about a question from Grant?
So question from Brendan.
Oh, Brendan, yes, sorry.
So question from Brendan, if you had sufficient budget to do a standard search campaign and a shopping campaign, would you recommend doing both or just investing in shopping? So that's an interesting question. I think to get the best results, you want to do a combination of both. So with shopping, usually once you get Google Shopping up and running, it will become apparent that you've got a number of products which perform particularly well, and then some other products which don't have as good a performance. So you can take those learnings from your Google Shopping campaign and build out search text ads for those products which are performing well. And then you're sort of expanding your learnings from the shopping campaign and growing into search as well. So I think a combination of the two would be best, but just shopping by itself isn't a bad way to get started. And then if you do find success with that, adding in shopping, adding in search afterwards is a good approach as well.
Okay.
So another question from Grant. So how competitive is Google Shopping? Is it still early days or quite widely used in AU and also for New Zealand? So Google Shopping has been up and running for quite some time in Australia. I think the market, as it were, in Australia is probably quite developed with a lot of major retailers in there as well as smaller ones. So I think it's not sort of a new product where you can get an edge by being an early adopter. However, New Zealand did recently launch Google Shopping earlier in 2017. It was released in the New Zealand market, so it is a newer Google product there. So there may be, I guess, less market coverage, maybe less players in the market in New Zealand currently, so you may be able to get an edge by getting in quickly. So question by Rue. So USPs, unique selling propositions. So these are basically the value propositions that you present to your customers as a reason to buy from you as opposed to someone else. So for any business, you've likely got competitors. Your USPs are reasons that you communicate to your customers in order for them to convince them to buy from you as opposed to a competitor. Then question from Grant. So can small businesses compete against big companies? Absolutely. So while you can't compete across their full product range, Myer is going to be advertising their full product range in Google. It would require a fair amount of budget to go head to head with them on all products. But if you select your products carefully, the key products which you want to push in Google Shopping can absolutely appear against them. The costs are on a cost per click basis. So if your product offering is on par with them or better, then you can absolutely compete with them. So question by Brendan. So if you have the budget, do you recommend doing shopping and then taking the learnings to standard search, or the other way around?
That's a really good question, because it's something that we consider on a daily basis.
So I think in general, we recommend starting with shopping and then taking the learnings to standard search. And this isn't because, I guess, the performance of one is better than the other, but I guess building a really high quality search campaign for your products is a bit more of a time investment than doing that for shopping. So if you can get it up and running for shopping, you only need to invest your time in the high quality search campaign for the products you've already learned are working well in shopping, rather than you spending all this time building a high quality campaign in search for your products and then learning that only a portion of them are really performing well in AdWords. So question from Prashita. So what's the best way to optimize shopping campaigns? That's a very large question. So I'm not sure I'll be able to answer it in its whole entirety in a few minutes. But it's absolutely something that we could look at doing another webinar topic on. But basically at its core, to optimize a shopping campaign, you need to identify which products are working well, make sure you're allocating budget to those products, And then conversely, identify your products which aren't working so well. And if you find a product that's not working well, you've got a decision on whether you can change what you're offering there, if you can adjust your price, if you can adjust your value proposition there and adjust that to make it work better. Or you can just allocate budget away from that product in Google Shopping and allocate it to products which do perform better. Hopefully that answers your question, but it's absolutely a large topic and something that we could do more than a webinar on alone.
Okay, Ollie, I'm noticing the time. I think obviously this has been very successful in terms of the great questions coming through. What's your plan going forward, Ollie, in terms of a follow-up?
So in terms of a follow-up, so I've just linked some resources here. You'll be able to see them in the slides we send out. And then we will be having a second webinar. So the next webinar in the series will be in a fortnight's time. So if you do have any topics from this webinar which you'd like us to go into more detail on, there's a link to a survey here. If you fill that out, let us know what you want to know more about. If we get a resounding result, we can make a webinar on that topic. Otherwise, we'll be presenting a webinar on how to get the most out of your search campaigns for online retail. So it'll be same time in 2 weeks, 2 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday, the 9th of August.
Excellent. Okay, thank you very much, Ollie, and look forward to any feedback that you might have offline.
Thank you for your viewership, and goodbye.